Don't you dare say that I want everything to fall apart when it's haunting.
Hey everyone, welcome back! Gara recently got a new augment with Citrine's Last Wish update. Is this video about that? Actually, no. That augment is trash. So I thought that when it said took 100% scaling of your Splinter Storm, that it takes 100% of your currently active Splinter Storm stacks to apply into detonating your fort. It doesn't. Instead, it uses the base single cast scaling of what your Shatter Lash would give your Splinter Storm in a single hit. In other words, you see this 50k hit into my 2? Yes, I know I have no buffs or eclipse, but that's the outgoing damage from the augment. I hit enemies for 50k. That's actually not bad, until you realize Mass Vitrify explosions convert all Shatter Lash damage into IPS on the AoE, which is notably resisted by armor and also has to deal with armor damage reduction overall. So that 50k becomes not even 5k on Steel Path. You might think that AoE Armor Strip can solve this, but why bother doing 50k AoE that requires casting Armor Strip, my 4, then my 1, when I've shown in the past that Shattered Lash was Steel Path viable as main DPS, even before the Armor Strip changes? Yup. Today, we're looking at an updated version of Shatter Lash DPS, but with Armor Strip. Basically budget Korra. Let's take a closer look. Shattered Lash is a pseudo-exalt that takes the mods of whatever equipped melee to determine its damage scaling. This is on top of traditional strength, range, and efficiency mods. That is why melees for pseudo-exalteds are called stat sticks, because the ability has its own weapon stats and completely ignores the base stats of the melee you are using, even if it scales off of melee mods. Kuva and Tenet melee Progenitor bonuses do currently affect stat stick scaling, so if you go the Rivenless route, those are strongly recommended. The choices today are Tenet Agendus, Tenet Exec, and Kuva Shieldeg. I picked Agendus just because it is the highest percent Progenitor I have and is comfy to use with its stance. Do not pick Tenet Grigori or Livia, because their combo counters reset to 0 when casting a pseudo-exalted or exalted ability. Magus Anomaly helps with grouping, but it really isn't too necessary. Also, yes, Xoris resets also. Unlike Korra's Whip, Shattered Lash does not build a melee combo. Today's Shatter Lash strat uses two notable techs. The first was shown in my previous Shatter Lash video from last year. Forcing crits on Shatter Lash makes it significantly stronger than a traditional build because of stat dilution. Taking advantage of spare slots for crits multiplies our damage even further. But Shattered Lash has a crit and status distribution of 0% with a 1x crit multiplier. To fix this, we use Combat Discipline in Arcane Avenger. This applies a flat 45% crit chance, and the HP loss is easy to heal off due to health orbs dropping from Synth Fiber. Magus Elevate and Operator Spam can also help in a pinch. With how easy it is to kill enemies with Shattered Lash here, you bet we will have Arcane Avenger active at all times. The other part is Veilbreaker introduced additive armor strip scaling. Previously, I depended on the raw corrosive damage output of a fully stacked Shattered Lash DPS as armor strip was multiplicative with the benefit of ensnare for crowd control and optimizing KPM on grouping. Now with armor strip, anything we touch with Lash dies, even doing well over 1 million damage with just a basic single viral proc. This makes Shattered Lash scale infinitely, as well as not needing to wait on grouping to DPS. Shattered Lash has two versions, a tap that throws glass on single targets or a hold for a sweep. The tap uses puncture, the sweep uses slash. Obviously, since the sweep is AoE, that is the one we mod for today. Also, go into your settings, invert tap hold abilities, and change Gara's to inverted. Now you have the slash sweep on tap. Perfect. Also, compared to the original Shattered Lash crit build, I no longer use an Adarza. Why? Because this build outputs several 100,000 damage per hit, even without a crit, so feel free to use whatever companion you want. Just make sure to use the Synthset mod so that Gara can get energy back from Equilibrium converting health orbs as well as offsetting Combat Discipline self-damage. Let's see that Gara build. As stated, Combat Discipline is our aura, because self-damage inflicted by kills can trigger Arcane Avenger, a flat universal plus 45% crit chance buff. This is important because it allows our Shattered Lash to scale with crit mods, vastly improving its DPS potential. Prime Footed is supposed to be in the Exilus, but hey, triple red polarity problems. Strength is super important on this build since it is multiplicative to base damage for Shattered Lash and is needed for Terrified Armor Strip scaling, and also determines how much damage reduction Splinter Storm gives us. It also determines how much Creeping Terrify slows enemies. Though be aware that we only have 100 duration, so Splinter Storm only lasts 22 seconds. It should be okay since it is a shield gate setup with Creeping Terrify to slow. At 100 efficiency, Terrify costs 75 to cast. We have 75 shields with the Decay Dragon key, so every time you cast Terrify, which is a required part of our DPS rotation anyways, you fully reset your shield gate due to 3 Augur set bonus. Also, make sure to cast Terrify before hitting the enemy. Shattered Lash knocks down enemies it fails to kill on the sweep version, and you cannot hit knockdown enemies with Shattered Lash again until they stand up. Make sure that one swing will kill. I know this build has Prime Flow, Equilibrium, and Energize as well as Spectral Siphon, but trust me, it's actually required. We tried so many times to get by with one less of the Holy Trinity, but the build burns through too much energy to maintain otherwise. You even have to actually cast Spectral Siphon sometimes for orbs, but it's pretty forgiving. Prime Flow basically lets you store up a massive bank when you choose to, so you can forget about the energy economy for a while. 175 range extends the frontal sweep to 17.5 meters, which is very comfortable and can snipe much further than you'd expect. Creeping Terrify keeps them in place, and we also have enough strength to camp out the slow. Rolling Guard to remove status effects in a pinch, and notice how we have a 3-set Augur bonus. 2 come from our Epitaph pistol. Bring something to kill Acolytes, since we're on a full strip Terrify setup today. You cannot Terrify Acolytes, and our stat stick is pure viral for full strip DPS. So we need something else, like a Brahma to blow them up. A generic corrosive build is fine, just make sure to bring Arcane Dexterity so our stat stick combo lasts longer. Prime Firestorm is honestly optional because we're only using this to kill Acolytes or problematic Eximus, not trash fodder. Our Epitaph Primer build is the same as usual, with Viral Radiation to buff our damage and de-aggro enemies from us. 2 Augur mods so we can reach the 3-set bonus for Terrify to restore all shields on cast. Comfy. And our Tenet Agendus, our stat stick. Yes, you can use Tenet Exact or Kuva Shield Egg as well. Get the Progenitor bonus as high as you can, preferably 60% because it does scale into the Shattered Lash damage. We've modded for Pure Viral and Buzzkill to take advantage of Shattered Lash's sweep being a base 100% Pure Slash. So Buzzkill is a literal 120% scaling elemental mod here. Banes don't work on pseudo exalts outside of Heat Inherit, so we skip it. Typical base damage times 2, and Gladiator Might alongside Organ Shatter to scale our force crits even higher. Quickening is here instead of where Korra would use Blood Rush. This is because, well, 0% base crit, but also because we actually need to build combo on Agendus swinging itself because Shattered Lash cannot build combo, unlike Korra's Whip. This makes it easier to swing and additional combo chance too. If you don't want to bother building combo on Agendus itself, then you can run Corrupt Charge here instead. Since we're full stripping, even a 2x combo Agendus will still do 100 to 200,000 damage. Viral Priming can boost this to 200 to 500,000 instantly. I chose Neramon today because unlike Korra, Shattered Lash does not build or maintain melee combo counter. Also, unlike Gyre's Cathode Current Nuke or HILDRYN's Heat Inherit Blazing Pillage builds, not only do I need to armor strip and then cast another ability to DPS, but I also have to swing my melee to maintain combo counter every 20 seconds if I don't use Neramon. I would also have to weave in the double Void Sling as well to maintain Matter Eye buffs. It was annoying to the point I chose not to run Matter Eye. This means I gave up on 40% strength and 50% casting speed buffs. As a result, I ended up using 4 Archon Shards, 2 casting speed shards to make up for losing power transfer, as both Shattered Lash and Terrify feel somewhat slow to cast otherwise, and 2 strength shards with 1 being Tau Forged, to hit the 167 strength requirement for Terrify to full strip in a single cast. If you have no Tau Forged, it will take 3 strength shards instead. Keep in mind the hitbox of Shattered Lash completely lacks a downward vertical hitbox on the horizontal swing. It extends vertically, but only upwards slightly, and not by much, so anything below waist level will not get hit. You might have to jump cast to hit certain floating enemies, otherwise enjoy the 17.5 meters frontal AoE nuke. Make sure to cast Terrify first. Cheers! If this is your first time watching, feel free to leave a like or better yet, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I'm trying my best to get you new information out always, as soon as possible like I've done with the Citrine's last Switch update. Stick around if you want to see interesting memes and builds on a nearly daily basis, as well as the earliest Duviri content. Don't want to miss out on any of that, do you? That'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.